Mm-hmm.
Grab your neighbor and pull up a chair, 'cause we got a lot to say about the world out there at the Humpday Exchange.
I love this song so much.
Today. Oh, yeah.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the Humpday Exchange, where we break down Oklahoma politics in plain English and spotlight the people shaping our future. Tonight we're talking with, is it Chayelynn Moore? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes, Chayelynn.
Chayelynn Moore, candidate for Senate District 10, and she's bringing a fresh, grounded perspective rooted in real life. She is a business owner and educator, bringing affordable, flexible career training to Skytook, and now she's ready to take that same energy to the Capitol. Let's give Miss Moore a warm welcome. Would you like to kick us off and tell us a little about yourself?
Okay, well, I guess I'm pretty boring, but I grew up in Springs, South Tulsa. I was an Army brat at an early age, graduated from Will Rogers High School in '98. I have sold real estate. I've worked in international aviation sales. I've done a lot of executive admin work. And then I decided I was going to pursue my lifelong dream around the age of 30, and I got my cosmetology license, went on to get my master instructor and my barber. And then during the height of COVID, I opened a beauty college while I was working at a nursing home because I wasn't able to see my outside clients. And it just kind of went from there. So that's the short version. I have a 10-year-old daughter, and my partner and I have been together for 20 years, and 2 giant doodles that don't know how to quit barking.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, goodness. Oh, why is my thing so dark?
We're thrilled to have you on here. I think, Michael, are you starting us off, or is it
Michael.
I think we'll start.
Yeah.
I think we're going to start it off. So, Chayelynn, I want to start off the top of the show of something that's fresh on everybody's minds. Obviously, food insecurity right now is a big thing happening in Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to talk to you about what could we do? What would you do in this situation if you were elected? And then what should we as citizens be doing to be helping?
Well, I would like to go back to my background a little bit if I can.
Yeah.
Build on that, because I grew up, I was a latchkey kid. We got school lunches, and a lot of days that was the only way that we ate. So I know that there's currently children like that now, unfortunately. So things have not changed. They've not gotten better since the 1980s. And now we're going back to where we have government who does not care if these children eat. But for me, it's kind of a personal plight because I was that kid that went to bed hungry most nights. And I've made it a very big personal plight of my own to make sure that my child never experiences that and to contribute wherever I can. Right now, we are doing a food drive at our Skytook campus. You bring in 3 dry good items. We're going to donate them. There's 2 or 3 different local charities, and if we get an abundance, we'll spread it out to whoever we can find. But if you bring in 3 dry good items, you get a free haircut, or if you bring in your government ID, your CAC card, you also get a free haircut. So we are trying to contribute in any way that we can. As far as if I'm elected, there's a lot that I want to do, and I know that I'm going to have to start small. But for me, that is one of those things that's high on my list, because nobody should go hungry. Everybody should have enough food to survive. I know that there's going to be different things in the way, such as red tape, because I've had to deal with the state government the last 2 years in regards to my own industry, and I know it won't be an easy fight. Yeah. But I am going to push for it, and unfortunately, because of the situation that we're in, I think I will have more support in that. I know that I think it's Senator Tedford out of Jinx told Sarah Gray from Tulsa, with the surplus we have in our rainy day fund, they will not allow them to use that for SNAP benefits because, quote, it's not their problem. That's all of our problem. Mm-hmm. That affects everybody. And that is going to also drive everybody else's grocery prices up, because these grocers are going to have to make up that loss somewhere. So that's going to have a huge impact on every Oklahoman, whether they realize it or not. And I'm also, we're doing food drives. I've put word out to the local school here. If they need any help, we're happy to help them. But right now is a really big time to check on your neighbors. Lean into your neighbors. It's okay to ask for help. Everybody needs help sometimes. So don't feel like you can't go and ask for help. We've all been there at some point in our lives. That's what makes us human, and it's okay to lean on each other and build community. So I am working with some of my team members. We're putting together a list of local resources and links that we're going to be putting on our social media pages for whatever area of the state that you're in. If you need assistance, we're trying to connect people with those local resources so that they can get somewhere in their area, because we also have a large elderly population that depends on SNAP benefits to feed themselves, because you can't really live off of Social Security. That is not realistic whatsoever. So I hope I answered your question.
No, you answered that beautifully, and I love that you pointed out the fact, taking the inhumane people cheering that people are losing food. They don't also understand that grocery prices are going to go up because of that, because that's guaranteed funds, and I love that you pointed that out. So thank you for doing that.
Yep, you got to follow the money and do the math.
Yeah. Perfect.
I think I can do this enough.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
Passion was there.
come on, girl.
Throw that in there. That was great.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing.
Elizabeth, did you have anything you want to follow up with that?
So yes. So I also work in social services, so I love hearing that you're doing all of those things in that area. That is just fantastic. It's just something I haven't heard really from like any candidates or, you know what I mean? So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Well, it's one of those things, when you live it, you don't want anyone else to live it.
Exactly. Can't do it enough. Right. So what I want to kind of tie into food insecurities is something that we already deal with as a state. But now that food insecurity is going to be massive, that is also going to affect our healthcare system. Yes. And so with that, like, we already have rural hospitals closing. We have people that are definitely lack of OBGYN care. We have just pockets of no coverage. And so now, on top of that already, now we're exacerbating the system with food insecurities. What is something that, you would put forth that you would want to see happen?
So first off, I would love to give a huge shout out to Principal Chief Hoskin of the Cherokee Nation, because he has done something amazing for his citizens and offering some benefits to them. And I know that doesn't help everybody, but alleviates some of the pressure that is on these people. I know that the other tribes will follow suit. I myself am Muskogee. So the tribes will help in any way that they can, because that is the nature and the culture, and that's something that we need to get back to. I would love to work with local tribes. I'm in the Osage Nation, the Wajaje area, so I know a lot of people within that area, and to connect people with resources. But I myself have to utilize Indian healthcare as a way for me to seek medical attention when I need it, because I'm a small business owner. And, even with the Affordable Care Act, it can be kind of expensive to insure yourself. So I would like to get with the tribes and see if there's any way they may be able to assist us with some of these rural hospitals and keeping those doors open while servicing tribal members, as well as members who are not tribal but do have insurance coverage, so they're able to contribute to the bills.
That is awesome. And our tribes step up so much.
Yes.
And it just warms my heart.
That's a true sense of community.
It really is. And I appreciate you saying that. We were just talking about that the other day, that community is going to be so important. Yes. Especially right now. We have to stick together. The food insecurities and the lack of health care. I mean, it's terrifying. But also when you talk about that with the reproductive health, like what are some things that that you would want to do and put forward that you would be able to not only give us some bodily autonomy, but save some of these pockets that we don't have.
Yeah, so you know probably that we are ranked 44th for infant mortality rates, right?
Correct.
Infant mortality rate is extremely high for a state that has, as Cindy Munson put it this week at the Young Democrats event, one of the strictest abortion laws in the United States. And I would like to add a personal story to this. So it was about 2 years ago now. I'm in my 40s. So we found out that we were expecting unexpectedly. And so I thought, okay, here we go. We're going to do this. Well, during the course of that, we found out that I had a blighted ovum, which means it was a non-viable pregnancy. And so it had to be terminated, unfortunately. But when I went to my Catholic male doctor and he told me this, he looked at me and he had such sorrow in his eyes. He said, I am so sorry. There's a pill I could give you for this, but due to the current state of our government, I cannot, and you may bleed to death. So that is also a personal plight, unfortunately. But that's something that's very important to me because I am assisting in putting my niece and nephew through college. I can't pay for it all, but I help them in any way that I can when I can. I also have, I think, about 50 students now between both campuses that I help educate and teach. I have employees at both campuses. I have a daughter. I have a partner. I have a lot of people who really need me to kind of stay alive and keep breathing. And I also have a lot more work to do before I quit breathing. So for me, there needs to be some changes, some drastic major changes, because they are not taking into account the science on how women's bodies work. They do not have the degrees to understand it, so they are out of their lane. We need them to get back in their lane, let the doctors come forth and tell them how this actually works, because most medical studies are not even conducted on women. They're conducted on men because they can't conduct them on women because our hormones fluctuate so much. So they don't know what they're doing, and they need to realize that and step aside so that the doctors can come in and the women can have their health care back, because this is absolutely ridiculous. All the rights that I've had my whole life that I've lived with that my mother did not have are being stripped away from my daughter and everyone else's daughters too. And I'm not going to lay down for that.
Would you say that would be due to not having enough women in these types of roles to influence those types of decisions? Is that maybe what something impacted your decision to run as well?
Yes. So on top of that, and then our issues with the state Senate last year in our industry, I kind of looked at it like the only way that I can actually affect change after dealing with senators and the governor and the runaround is from the inside. You have to be the change you want to see. I did not ever intend on running. I actually told my husband we can move to another country, but it's not that easy. So he was pretty happy when I came home and said, I think I'm going to run for Senate. He said, okay. So for me, I would love to see more women out here running and campaigning. There's a lot of great opportunities. If you think you can't do it, you can. There is such a wonderful group of people that are there to support you. Sally's List has been amazing in supporting me. I and several others attended training in Tulsa this weekend. I know that there's going to be some training with the Oklahoma Democratic Party, I think after the first of the year in Oklahoma City. So there is a support system. There are resources. And if you want to run, reach out to me. This is a whole new rodeo to me, not anything I ever intended on doing. And I honestly don't like public speaking, but when I'm passionate about something and it's upset me and it's harming others, you're going to hear every word I have to say.
Yes.
So hopefully, did I answer your question? Thank
Perfect.
you.
Perfectly. Diva, did you have any follow-ups on that? Michael, what you got?
Let's talk about accountability, and I just want to about corporate donors. Can you ensure to your constituents that you will be hold yourself accountable and put them over corporate donors and things like that?
100%. So for me, I don't really want any corporate money. I'm still figuring out how all this works. I know that there will be different entities that may want to support me. I actually went to Adair County and spoke to their Democratic Party a couple of months ago and was asked a similar question as if I would take money from APAC. Never in my life, zero chance that I would take any money from them. So that stated, I will fund this campaign dollar by dollar, penny by penny. And remember, I grew up poor, so I can stretch everything and make it work any way I know how. And I've been running a business the same way for the past 5 years. And guess what? We're making our 5-year mark, so we'll be just fine with that.
Yep. Grassroots is very important. So I definitely agree with that.
Like somebody knows how to do business.
Yes.
I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, then that's where accountability comes in, but that's how we learn.
That's the first part of just admitting that you're not perfect, and I think you're human. So I think that just shows everybody that's watching right now that you're willing to admit that. So not a lot of politicians are able to admit that right now. So that's nice and refreshing.
That's ego getting in the way. My ego has been shut down. Constant work in progress.
It's nice that there's somebody running who isn't a career politician. I think we're needing more and more of that now, more than ever, I think.
I think we need more blue-collar, working-class people that are living real, everyday lives in this system that does not fit us and does not work for us to stand up and run for office. I don't care if it's superintendent, city council, mayor, senate, house district, congressional district, whatever it is, please run for it.
Find your why. That's definitely. Speaking of on the topic of keeping money out of politics, have you signed the pledge for money out of politics yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't been. That one hasn't been introduced to me. Can you tell me more about it?
Hey, Lisa. She has a lot more details than I do. She is.
I know we're like, ma'am.
Step up.
Help.
Y'all are so funny. So Money Out of Politics is a veteran-led organization that are asking candidates to take pledges that they won't accept PAC money.
Oh.
And we've gotten Candace J, who's running for lieutenant governor. She's the only one we know of so far in the state of Oklahoma that has pledged that.
Oh,
But it's a really good group. We're trying to get them here for opening day in February.
Okay. Yeah, no, send that on over. I don't have any problem with that. That's an easy one to start.
Perfect. Thank you.
Can I switch gears a little bit? So you're in Skytook, which you're actually very, very close to me. You're surrounded by smaller towns and communities out there. So in SD10, many rural and small town communities face teacher shortages and transportation issues. Is there any steps that you might have thought about maybe taking to address those challenges within SD10?
You know, that's a really good question, and that hasn't been on my radar, but I can see where that's definitely a problem. And you know what might be a really good answer to that? If we paid our teachers a living wage to entice them to stay in this state and good teachers to come to this state instead of giving out emergency teaching certificates on a whim to whoever and letting Ryan Walters run everything into the absolute ground. So I think first off, we got to pay our teachers better, and that needs to change at the Capitol. And I'm all on board with that. And I think once we start paying our teachers better, we will see better teachers coming through the pipes. We'll see more teachers. And we'll also see people hopefully moving back to the state that have left. I know that when I worked in Catoosa at Great Clips cutting hair, I would cut hair for teachers who lived here but drove across state lines to work because they got better pay doing so. So I think that's going to be a huge issue, is getting teacher pay raises. And as far as transportation to and from schools, I would have to look more into that. But I think, yeah, that's definitely worthwhile because I was the kid that rode the bus. And I know that when you're in a rural area in the middle of wintertime waiting on a bus, that can be very, very, I don't know, brutal to say the least. So, yeah, I would like to look more into that. And I support our schools 100%. My child is in public school. I went to public school. And I think we need to start setting our public school students up for success instead of just being robots and machines.
Yes, absolutely. And to kind of follow up on that, maybe this might be something you've not thought about, but given the geographic, I know that there might be issues with improving like broadband access, internet access, virtual learning, or remote teacher support. Do you see have any ideas for smaller schools like that, having those kind of issues?
Well, the only ones I can think of offhand that are close to me, because we are in a massive county, so I've got my work cut out for me for cutting turf over here. So the closest I can think to me is Avant. I know that we have AT&T in our area in Cox, so I would have to look at the map. But I do know that that's going to be important, especially when we have snow days. I know they're doing whole distance learning now. And then we have children who are homeschooling who may need that to log in and do their work. And we're kind of in a day and age where a home phone and internet are kind of a staple, just like electricity, gas, and water. So I think that's going to be important to make sure everybody has. Thank you for putting that on my radar. It's not something that I'd really thought about yet.
I do want to couple something with that with like the rural schools and the meals. Like, what is there? Like, is there something that you can do? Is there something that you've thought of or like a plan? Like, hey, I think if we do this, we could really knock some of this out.
I have a couple of plans in the works. I am wanting to do some rallies across the state, not so much for my campaign, but because of what we're going through and what we're doing. So it's going to be more just service based. I'm working on getting other nonprofits or people who are willing to donate time and services or goods to go with me. But I actually reached out to OSU and then they referred me to 4-H. I would love to get together, and I'm working on it, with the local 4-H groups to create community gardens. I know that here in Skytook, I talked to Brad White, the city manager, and he said they have space. They just, here they don't have the people that want to work it. And I think if we can get 4-H and our FFA involved, and then our retirees who are still active to help kind of hand down and pass down knowledge about gardening, and the students would love that. If you get kids in the dirt digging and planting seeds and growing things that they've done with their own hands to see what they're capable of, I think that's awesome. We do that with our child. We've done that since she was little. We've always had little gardens, except for the past 2 years because I've been tired. But this year, we got that victory garden up. So we've been working on it at home, and I'm working on partnering with other entities and agencies to at least help with community gardens, to help with some food shortages. But I also know that my child refuses to eat the school lunch, but if you're hungry enough, you eat it. And I was made aware of about a year or so ago in one of our local school districts that students have balances on their lunch, that they were given, I think, a bread and cheese sandwich. I do not know if that's still occurring, but if it is, that is absolutely unacceptable. And we have to do better as Oklahomans and as a simple human being, because that's not okay to do to a child. That is absolutely awful and outlandish, and that's also humiliating.
Yeah.
I should say it's very humiliating.
Yes.
Because everybody knows you don't have to eat the food.
Yeah.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Sean Cummings, like they did that last year, like went around and like paid off student lunches so that students could get their diplomas.
Oh, wow. I know that we paid some for Sperry, and we raised some money with haircuts because I just didn't want students, I didn't want kids eating cheese for lunch. And they wouldn't let me order pizzas and send anything up there. And then I didn't know, like, I was like, can we please put this on who, like, those who are about to be cut off or don't have food, they wouldn't give me any decision or choice. It was like, well, they'll just spread it out. And I'm like, I want these children who are the most vulnerable to be taken care of with my dollars that I'm contributing. And I know there's rules and laws on sending pizza and stuff up there. They said they could have a separate party for them, or not party, but a separate event outside of lunch, which would still cause humiliation, but that I could not send the pizzas or the food up there to feed the children during lunchtime. So, yeah, things have to change.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty sad.
Can I get your thoughts on the state superintendent change? Just open thoughts about what he's doing now and the changes he's making to what was previously in place. Like, how do you feel that's going?
I will tell you, I have not had time to keep up with it, but I was excited to see Walters go. I have not got to check in on it, and I will tell you, I try not to watch local news too much because it can be very depressing, and I try to search out resources, but can you enlighten me on a couple of things that you're speaking of, and I'm happy to give an opinion. Unless it's too much to go over.
There's, he's put a stop to, I know that about the, they were trying, he was still trying to put the Bibles in, and it was still somewhere in litigation somewhere, and he immediately just like cut that off. Mm-hmm. He seems more about the rhetoric and actually getting to work for me, to me anyways. Of course, it's still early. You don't know what kind of influences are going to come into play later on, but maybe I'm just optimistic and so thankful Walters is gone.
Okay, that was the consensus I heard, but you alarmed me for a moment, and I thought, oh my word, what have I missed at this doing? So I was like, oh no, he can't be just as bad or worse. And that's what the feeling I got, and that's why I hadn't really worried about that much. I've been on other fires, I should say. But yeah, as far as my child does not need to learn the Bible at school. That should be for the parents to decide at home. And you know what? When you're 50th in education, I don't think that's what our focus needs to be right now. I think there's a lot of other things that we can focus on, especially these children who are in special education classes right now whose funding has been cut. And some of them are not even going to be allowed to go to school because they're not going to have classrooms for them anymore. That's where our priorities need to go. They need to be fed. They need to be educated. The Bible can be for church on Sunday and what their family and their parents decide for them. Instead of wasting their time in school when they're going to do that on the weekend, let's go to school and let's have school. That's what I think it should be.
I want to jump in here real quick if y'all don't mind.
Go ahead.
So, I don't know if you're aware, but Organizing Okies, we're trying to get greenhouses in all 77 counties. And we have one in Tulsa. Oklahoma Woman is actually our steward, and she's our lead steward for the whole state. We have two that's getting, Rogers County is getting ready to come online, and then we're going to have another one coming up in Tulsa as well. And I just keep hearing what you said about the schools, and my head is just, spinning with that. And it just seems like maybe there's something that we can do to help bridge some gaps there if need be.
Yeah. Are you guys, so the greenhouses, are you guys utilizing any of the hydroponics? Because I know that some of the indoor farming, like they do that, and I'm not just talking about the medical marijuana, but I know some churches that utilize them. But I think that is really a cool idea, because then you can cultivate year-round and feed people year-round. So I am all over that. If there's a way I can help in any way, I would love to do that.
Well, I love that. I was thinking more along the lines of a partnership with you and the schools to help, maybe we can provide seed, maybe we can provide, they can come tour the green. I mean, there's all kinds of different stuff that we can maybe set up to help with the food insecurities at school as well. And maybe it's just sending home a bag of fresh produce a week to those kids who, get skipped at lunch or whatever. I don't know, but maybe sometime this coming week we can get together with you and discuss that and come up with a way we can all help.
I would love that.
Excellent. Sorry, guys. I was like, my head was just like, oh my God, this is so cool. This is so cool. I love getting the kids we have to involve the youth. And these are
Yes.
skills that they have to
Yes.
learn for future use too, right? So if we can grow sustainable food in sustainable ways and have sustainable people, who aren't being abused in order to access systems, right? Then we can actually start creating community that is completely self-sustainable and whole in itself, I think. And it starts with food.
Yes, and the irony of this is the whole thing that certain people are trying to do by ripping the country apart and creating all this divisiveness and pitting neighbor against neighbor and family member against family member. It's about to blow up in their face because you know what? We're going to come together. We're going to build community. We're going to love one another, and they are not going to get their way because they're not going to win. We are.
Yes.
Correct.
Ma'am. When the government doesn't feed us, we feed each other.
That's right. We don't need them then. We'll take care of it ourselves.
Right. I was very surprised. I don't know why I say that, but when the governor was live today, and how they were sharing, there's food insecurities, but when you go to the store, like buy a little something extra. And of course, the whole thing was like, we can't even afford food for ourselves, let alone, and of course we do it, right? Because we have good hearts and we're decent people and all the things. But damn,
yes. And I would love to reach out to some of our local Oklahoma celebrities and see what they can do to help us help our neighbors. Because if Governor Stitt can't make a grocery donation and he expects all of us to do it, you know what? I know that there's some amazing Oklahomans that have the means and they can do it and they can show them how it's done. So I know we've got Garth, we've got Reba, and there's many more in there. Blake, I'm like, let's reach out to them. I'm gonna call them out here. I'm gonna say, hey guys, what do you got on this food for these kids?
Yes.
Really, come on. I'll help you. You help me, and let's build community, and we'll show Stitt how we do it.
word.
There's been something that's been bugging me, and I don't even know if this is something that I guess you would have control over. So just stop me if it's not, being elected. But it frustrates me to no end that we have the means, we have the food, and there's so much waste. For example, like just throwing out things that are not even expired yet from grocery stores, or clothing that is perfectly fine, just out of style, being thrown in the trash and just filling, waste. I wish there was some type of agreement, I guess we could make with corporations, especially the ones that constantly are throwing out hellacious amounts of good stuff, and to donate it. Even from a corporate mindset, a business mindset, that would still be somewhat of a tax write-off, right? I mean,
yes.
I
I think if we could set something up, I don't know if you'd have to, and because I don't know all the legalities on that, if you would need to set up a separate nonprofit that maybe they could donate to in order to get a tax deduction for them, or if they are able to donate it back to the state. But that might be a whole nother division. It might fall under DHS, but I know we need a lot of work in all of these different departments. That actually sounds like a really cool idea. I know that years ago, I worked for a company in Tulsa, and one of my coworkers' mother, for her local church, she would go by and pick up Panera Bread's leftovers or whatever they didn't sell because it was going to go bad. So Panera donated it to the church, and they would give it to families in need. And I think that's a great way to support those who are struggling at the time and maybe need a little extra hand up, not hand out.
Yeah. I mean, this might sound ridiculous, but I, for no reason for myself, but I've dumpster dove, and I would find so much, and I would immediately donate it to the Tulsa Day Center, or I found a couple heaters, brand new heaters in the box in the dumpster, heaters that I gave to friends that needed them. I don't know. There's just so much waste out there. I wish that we could do better about it.
I know here in Skiatook we have, and I can't remember what the acronym stands for exactly, but it's on a list that I got from the school today on places to donate more food. but it's called Seek, SEAC. So we'll oftentimes take clothing donations there because I did grow up poor. Most of my clothes came from Goodwill or they were donated to me. So for me, I'm like, we have some really decent clothes that our kid has outgrown. Why can't another child wear these and feel confident in going to school because they're still in good shape and not have to feel like they don't fit in? So I think that would be helpful just to have community resources, and that might be something the state may be able to partner with and to set up in different communities. Like, why not have one in Tulsa? Why not have one in Claremore or Owasso or Collinsville, or maybe find out the areas that have the greater need and we place them there? And it may have to be a nonprofit. I don't know because I'm still learning the legalities of everything, and I know that I will learn more as I go. And they'll probably have to tell me no on some things and that I can't do something. But I'm going to ask why, and I'm going to push really, really hard.
Thank you. I just wanted to pick your brain about that.
So something I also want to ask about, also as a military brat myself, the fact that our military has to be on SNAP benefits is disgusting to me. And maybe I'm just sheltered or I don't know what, and I don't remember it being like that. But I remember about 20 years ago, like hearing that, and I was like, no way. And then way.
So can I tell you another personal story?
Absolutely.
So one of my earliest childhood memories, I think I actually asked my father about this a couple of weeks ago because we were discussing it at home and the food insecurities and the issues. So I called him and I was asking him about it. But one of my earliest childhood memories was I was about 3 years old, and that's what I wanted to know was my age because we lived in Clarksville, Tennessee on an Army base. And I remember walking to the refrigerator door, and I think my mom opened it. And I can still picture it in my head. We had a little bit of milk and a half a package of bologna in our refrigerator, and that was it. We should be ashamed of ourselves as a nation that our military does not have food to feed their family or themselves. How disgraceful is that? How embarrassing is that? That they have to be on SNAP benefits because the cost of groceries are so high, they can't afford to feed themselves or their family. And I know that from personal experience too, unfortunately.
Right? I mean, because they have, the whole commissary on base and all the things. And it used to be like you went to the commissary because they were so much cheaper. And it's not so much like that anymore.
They've turned it into a business for profit, sort of like those company towns that we used to have a long time ago. Interesting. Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, it might be a little bit, it's not like it was.
It should be more affordable for military people specifically because of what they are contributing to our country. They are putting their lives on the line, and a lot of them are barely making it. That's unacceptable. I'm sorry, that just makes me angry.
Right. I mean, it makes it difficult to, do all the, active things that they want you to do when you're hungry. So,
Yes.
Well, look at the money they're throwing at the ICE agents.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Like,
Why?
what?
The bonuses they'll never see.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Day I wake up and I see another new headline that I'm like, okay, I've got to go deep dive this and research it before I take it as truth. But it seems like every time, the more outlandish it is, the crazier it is, the more maniacal and evil it is, the more true it is. It's like the world has stood on its head, and that is exactly part of the reason why I'm running, because my daughter has to live in this world. Other people's children have to live in this world. We need to look 7 generations ahead as to how this nonsense is going to affect them moving forward. But we also need to look 3 generations back and ask ourselves, how did we get to this point? How did we let it get so bad? And how do we prevent that from happening again?
Right. It's scary when you're like, are we like at a point, like, are we going to return from this or like what? But, it's it's sad. It's insane to me when I have to field phone calls all day. You know, hey, is this going to be permanent? Are we going to never have SNAP benefits again? Are we all going to go hungry? And I'm like, listen, all I know is November, and we're going to stick with that. I can't go any further than that. I just can't. Right.
And
So we're going to say right now for November, we're prepared for December, but right now we know it's not going to be there, so we'll prepare. We'll get the food pantries, all the things.
all I can think about is the comment that was made about maybe they only have one doll for Christmas this year. How about food?
Yeah.
I mean, no, we're going to have a doll and no food at this point. One thing, I did reach out to the Osage County Health Department, and they were kind enough to let me know I'm going to be scheduling a meeting with them, that they have a full list of resources within the county that I am going. That's part of what I want to obtain, but I want to do it across the state. So because when I run for Senate, I'm not just running for me; I'm running for the whole state. I will be representing my district, of course. But it was so frustrating anytime I encountered a senator that didn't want to talk to me because I wasn't in their district and I couldn't vote for them, so I had zero value. Everybody in this state has value to me. Everybody matters in this state. So I think it would be helpful, and if anyone needs to reach out to your county health department, they likely also have a list of resources. And as soon as I can orchestrate something or put something out, I will. I've got people that are helping me work on it right now. I know that November 1st is coming fast, but the one thing I can say is reach out to your county health department and ask them for the list of resources that they have too. Because I can't imagine doing what you're doing and having to listen to people on the other end of the line not knowing if they're going to have food. That's got to be heartbreaking.
It's, yeah, but I do want to add a caveat to your resource list. It's also, if you go on to, I think it's the regionalfoodbank.com. So here's the thing. Also being in Oklahoma City, I have tons of resources for this county and the surrounding. And so there's a lot. I mean, we get inundated with emails all day, like new resources, all the things. So I'm more than happy to share that with you. I know that I post this on here. It's just a lot, right? I didn't realize that people didn't know that they're about to have no food. And it's just, I think I called Elisa just crying because I'm like, that's a lot. But we do. So we do have like the regional food bank. There are a lot of churches that are also stepping up. I know that Elisa and I and Oklahoma and Michael have all posted, but like specifically, like I know I've sent it to Elisa so that we have those resources readily available. To the point that we actually had somebody, the most beautiful souls, and I needed this so bad, drove from Edmond to 50th and Lincoln and then out to McLeod.
Wow.
Just to help somebody out that needed food, and was like, I had no idea this was happening and I have no way to go get food. So now that we have that, now we get to pull from that resource and go, great, so you live in McLeod, who can we contact? Right? We can't drive this way all the time, but we can't have you going hungry at the same time. So kind of help us help you with those community resources.
That would be nice if we could find drivers that can deliver at least meat in those communities. I know that during the COVID Heaven Sent Food Pantry here in SkyTech, I drive by it on my way to my business. The line was long. People needed food. They were out there in line because they were struggling. They couldn't go to work at that time. So those resources are a tremendous help to our communities. And if we need to figure out delivery drivers or if there's people willing to volunteer, I mean, it may need to be a whole network of people, just community volunteers helping each other. I'm all in for that, and share with me whatever you have, and I'll share back and forth because at this point, that's what it is. It's community and us helping.
It has to be. It has to be community. And then now I feel like we're a little bit more kind of guarded with our community. Like I have my tribe, and I'm like, that's my tribe. Mm-hmm. Good, bad, ugly, all the things. Like I know I'm safe with them. But
Well,
yeah, it's sorry
another
to keep going. It's a lot. It's so much.
another thing that I learned growing up was how to stretch food. And especially when there were stepchildren brought in and there was 5 or 6 of us at that time and we already didn't have enough food. One of my staff members who's a very good friend, same thing, there were 6 kids in her family. And so I've seen a lot of wonderful women on this app actually showing you how to prepare meals to feed a large group of people or to feed you for an extended period of time. But if you have an elderly neighbor that you know maybe they don't drive, maybe they probably don't have a whole lot. And if you just drop something off at their house and even to say hi, because a lot of times they don't even have anyone that comes and talks to them and says hi, and just having someone to check on them is really nice and it will go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. Yeah, I want to kind of combine everything all together because we've talked about a lot of things that I think may not be popular with a lot of your colleagues. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna. How would have you thought about how you would work with your colleagues while advocating for all these things? Is
Yes.
there like sweet?
So, because of my previous background and my life experiences, one thing I do daily is I work with young adult students, and we don't always have the same idea. And sometimes it's a meeting in the middle to get to where we need to be. For me, it's not compromising my beliefs, it's not leaving anyone out to dry. I will always push and I will always ask why. And if I do not get a good answer on the why, I keep pushing. I do understand compromise is important and you have to work across party lines. I don't despise anyone just because of their party affiliation. What I do have a problem with is if you hate other people because of your party affiliation, sex, religion, creed, whatever. That's what I have a problem with. But if we're out here taking care of Oklahomans and we all have the same goal in mind, then I'm happy with that. I'm willing to work with anybody that has that same goal in mind, and whatever party they belong to, we should be working for the people and taking care of them.
That's awesome. Speaking of people, you got a rather large county. I think what is it, 76,000 people?
Yes, it's
Um,
almost as many people that are licensed with the Oklahoma State Board of Cosmetology. I just realized that.
oh, that's awesome. What has been have you been out in the communities? How have you been received, and how have you been received and all that good stuff? Yeah.
My launch party is actually tomorrow in Skiatook at 6 o'clock, which is a special campaign launch at the school. So anybody's welcome to come and join us. So that will be tomorrow at 6. I have not necessarily hit the ground yet. I haven't started cutting turf. I've talked to a lot of friends and family in the area, other business owners that are like-minded as well. And so that's been well received. And I know that not everybody will think and see the same way that I do, and that's totally fine. If I can get them to see and understand how it's negatively impacting not only other Oklahomans, but potentially themselves, that may help. And I can I can I can lay it all out. I can reason if anyone's willing to talk with me. If they don't want to, that's totally fine. I will keep on trucking right along. But my plan is to just get out in the communities. I'm going to start attending events at different locations within the community. I think that my campaign team has got me set up to meet with, I think it's the K County Young Democrats, a friend that I met when I first announced that I was starting this campaign. She's going to be starting a Young Democrats in Osage County here soon. I'm going to try to help her as much as I can. So I think it's really just getting the word out there, because there has not been a Democratic candidate in my area. I think they said for 15 years. So nobody's going to know I'm coming, I guess. But they'll get to meet me, and then they can decide how they feel about it after that. I'd love to have their vote and their support, because I'm going to support them in the long run. And the reason that I'm running is for them. I have 2 businesses. I have a whole lot to do, but this is a passion, and I've got business partners in place that when this takes place and I need to go do what I need to do, I have an amazing support team and support system at both locations. So I'm finally in a position where the timing is just right. I can go and fight for not only my students and my family, but for all my neighbors too.
That's awesome. Sweet. Anybody have any follow-up, any questions, any questions in the chat? I haven't seen anything come up
Do
yet.
you feel, because the area you're in, I kind of know how Skytook is. Do you feel that there may just not have been a presence of that for any type of change? I guess you talked about how there hasn't been anybody running, outside of Red. So do you find that that's going to be a challenge?
I think that we probably didn't have anyone running, so a lot of people were disenchanted voters that just didn't even vote. I know that happened in the last presidential election. I remember driving by my voting polling place that before the early voting, the line was long, and I thought, oh my goodness, we're going to have a big voter turnout. And the day of, I have never walked right into that facility, voted, and walked out without a 30-minute to a 1-hour wait, and that day it happened. I know we have a lot of disenchanted voters. I know we have a lot of unregistered voters. I highly recommend everyone please go and register. Your vote counts. It does matter, and we need it more now than we ever did before. But I do believe we just didn't have any representation, and representation matters too. So I think if I can at least get my name on the ballot, get the word out there, and people know who I am, it will be up to them to decide who they want in this position. I don't have any personal problems with my opponent. I just need a seat at the table so that I can affect change, and this is the best way I know how to do it.
Giving a reason for us to get out there and vote. I like it. I think that's
Yes.
what's really needed. I mean, it's hard to get anybody to vote if there's nobody running.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, if somebody wanted to volunteer for your campaign or help you in any way, how can they reach you? Like, what are all the things?
Okay. They can email me. It's Moore, Moore, for the number, OK Senate 2026 at gmail.com. You can also find me here on TikTok. Message me here. You can message me on Facebook. It's Shay Moore, CHAYEMOORE. Look me up there. Reach out to me any way you can. If you want to come to the campaign launch tomorrow, we're going to have sign-up sheets here. If you want to sign up to just whenever you're available, if you want to come help talk to people, if you want to help make phone calls, if you want to help with flyers and mailings, whatever you want to help with, I will take all the help I can get because it is going to take a village, or in this case, a whole county or state.
I'll try to get out there. It's tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll try to get out there.
Where is it at again? I'm sorry.
We're in downtown Skytook at 215 East Rogers, and we're right next door to Supernall's Indian Supply. They painted their building turquoise. It's beautiful. So
Yeah.
if you see a beautiful turquoise building, our parking is just in the back. We have parking between the fire station and the city building. You come in our back door, there's an Artisan Institute sign. The wind's kind of taking a hold of it. It's a little roughed up right now, but it's hanging over the back door. You can come right in the way, and we'll get you checked in, and you can have some snacks and drinks and mix and mingle. We'll have some local politicians here. I know Representative John Waldron out of Tulsa will be here. If you're interested in running, Rena Cook from Sally's List will be here. If you want to volunteer and help me, please do. But yeah, everyone's invited. You can come ask me questions. I'm going to try to talk to everybody. I have never done one of these before, so we'll see how it goes.
What time does it start?
It starts at 6 o'clock. We'll go from 6 to 8.
Perfect. I'll try to get out there then.
Thank you. I hope you do.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wish you were closer. I would be there in a heartbeat.
You're right in my backyard, so I really got to be there.
Yes, please come down, and then you can share with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do a live stream for us.
That's what I
That's
was
what I
Ooh,
probably
good
do.
idea.
like. That
Yeah.
would be perfect.
Then everybody can see my real face.
Yeah.
Right.
We're
So
getting you there.
close, too.
Next
So
time,
close.
we'll have you up here.
You
Where
know
is she
what?
at now?
I always wanted to be the cool kid. It might happen one day.
10 more followers. We have 8 people in the chat right now. We could, if anybody in the chat is not following her, go follow her, please.
Yes, let's get her to 100 so we can see her face next time.
You know,
I would love to do this again.
I know, right?
Is there anything you would like for your potential constituents to know? Your main fight, your main focus? Is there any lasting impressions you'd like to leave us with?
I will say education is important. As an educator of adult students, I see a lot of students who come into my classroom that have had learning diversities that have fallen through the cracks and made it all the way to me before it's I work with that on a regular basis. That's one of the things that we pride ourselves on, as being a small school, so that we can do that and help anyone who's willing to let us help them. So education, also women's health is very important to me, since the state tried to kill me a couple of years ago. No one else should have to go through that, and I've heard so many horror stories of women who did not get. So education, healthcare, women's health, and another thing is, I know it's on the ballot, but we need a living wage for Oklahomans. I do not pay my employees anything less than $20 an hour starting out. And that makes it harder on me as a business owner, but I'm not in it to get rich. I'm in this to see the future and to help create other entrepreneurs. And that to me is a win. When I see that student go out there and open up their own salon, that's what I'm doing it for. So I want to see other people be successful, be able to afford to feed themselves, house themselves, pay their utilities, and still be able to go on a vacation, buy their kids more than $1 at Christmas, and have a happy life. That's all we all want. We want to be able to exist and live our lives the way that we want and enjoy them at the same time, besides having to work 40 plus hours a week for peanuts and to go home and eat ramen noodles.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I couldn't clap even
I know.
any more than I was
right?
like,
I'm like,
come on.
wait, what? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, that I was gonna ask you about like the living wage, because that's also gonna go into our food insecurity, our healthcare system, our education.
It's all wrapped.
It's all wrapped. It's all wrapped together.
1998, I graduated. It was the same amount then as it is now.
Mhm. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, the cost of living isn't, though. Cost
I
of living
understand.
significantly. So when are they going to wake up and realize we can do basic math? Even though you keep defunding education, we're not blind and we're not stupid. We see it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I work in property management, and the cost, I personally know that the cost of living is going up with that rent every year. It goes up every year for these people, but wages aren't going up. So
And
I'm glad to hear.
costs.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And some of the biggest, oh, somebody else put this in here. Yeah, some of the biggest salons and even companies they're just not paying. And when you have a Walmart, when the majority of their employees are on SNAP benefits. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
They should be fined.
Yes.
I agree. That's
If your employees have to be on SNAP benefits, you're doing something wrong.
correct.
That's where I'm at with it. And if I knew I had an employee on SNAP benefits, I would want them to come to me and talk to me and tell me about it. I have students that come to me who tell me I had just one day. I said, "Aren't you going to lunch?" They said, "I don't have any gas money. Here's a Walmart gift card." You know, if I have a staff member that I know is on SNAP benefits, I, as a human being, am going to feel like a terrible person because I am not taking care of my employees. And if I take care of my employees, guess what? They take care of me.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
That's 1,000%. It comes back, and there's more work that they'll actually do for you when they're actually paid properly.
Yeah.
You know, it does come back to you. Sorry, I thought I was still on mute. I'm like, yes.
so I like the idea.
No, but I love that you said that, because I'm like, that is so true. Like, I told my supervisor the other day, I'm like, you just make me want to be a better employee, like a whole better person.
Well, and yeah, if you appreciate, respect, and admire your employees, and like, you're gonna have good employees, and they're going to feel the same way about you. If you give them that same love, they're gonna give it back to you. And that's just how life works in general.
Happy employees are more productive.
Yes. And I want mine to be happy.
Yes, of
Great.
course.
Well, yeah, because the better we do, the better you look,
Yes.
right? And so if you're looking good, I mean, and you're decent, it's going to roll back, it's that whole.
And for me, the school in and of itself, like I never planned to open a school either. I never planned any of this. It was just a hope and a dream and an idea that came to fruition. But I don't even care about any of the notoriety or me. Like if we do a good job as a school, we'll get more students in. That's the goal. And my goal is to help people who, like myself, fell through the cracks and fell through the system because I know what that's like, and to help create them to be the entrepreneurs they want to be. If they want to go work for a large chain, some people do, by all means. And if that's what makes you happy, I say 1000% do whatever that is. It doesn't harm anyone else. You're happy. That's a win. So as far as us looking good, it's more so about attracting quality employees, retaining quality employees, because I do not like a high turnover rate. And if I have a high turnover rate, I need to look back at myself and go, what am I doing wrong? And then looking at my business in the long run, creating a legacy for future entrepreneurs who maybe have gone down the same path or maybe haven't, but are able to make a means for their own family and take care of them and be proud of what they're doing and helping others in the meantime while doing that too, because there's something really rewarding about doing someone's hair and turning them around and them being so excited that they cry or they're so happy and you've kind of uplifted them. That's rewarding in and of itself. And if this school is here 50 years from now, I may not be, but if there's someone in my family running it or someone I know, or if it's just the same legacy is continuing, that's a win.
That must be fulfilling as well, being able to provide people with a means to support themselves. Like you said, if they have a background such as yours, that's got to be rewarding as well. That's awesome.
Absolutely, because I know you can make six figures in this industry if you put your mind to it, and you don't have to go and get a 4-year degree. Some people need that. Some people are cut out for that, and that works for them, but it does not work for everybody because every learner and every person is different. So if this is what you need to do, you need to work with your hands and you enjoy making people feel good about themselves, then you have an opportunity without paying an astronomical amount to go and get your certificate or get your license, go out there and make your 6 figures, feed your family, take care of yourself, and go on whatever vacation you want to go on.
That's the goal, right? That's the American dream.
That's right. That's what we all signed up for, I thought.
Yeah.
Right?
Lovely.
Oh, goodness.
Did y'all have any other lasting questions?
No. This is great.
This has been fantastic.
Well, thank you guys for having me on. Not going to lie, I was nervous about this because, like I said, I don't like public speaking. I'm an introvert by nature. But
We couldn't tell.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we couldn't tell.
Not at all.
You did amazing.
Excellent.
when you get mad, things come out a little differently. I just got to make sure I don't say any bad words.
The passion I think, is what's drawing us to you more, is that you are passionate and it's coming rooted from self-experience. And so, I don't know, I'm thrilled. Thank you for being on here with us today.
And the bad word things, like that's a rule just so that they can kill us with politeness. So if you need a curse, you curse. Authenticity.
I'm a flip out, but I do pretty good with my students on it.
Well, right, of course.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you all so much for having me. I would love to come back maybe in a few months and revisit where we're at on the campaign. And
Yes.
Yes.
1,000%. We'll see your face next time.
there'll be some more crazy, absurd things to talk about, unfortunately.
Right?
Sure.
And we're here for it all.
Absolutely.
We'll be there.
For it all.
Thank you, Miss Moore.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
District 10.
Thank you all. It was good to talk to you. Hope to see you again soon, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be there.
Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe and reach out if you need anything.
Thank you so much.
Grab your neighbor, pull up a chair, 'cause we got a lot to say about about the world
I love us.
at the Humpday Exchange.
Oh my god, I love it so much.
Me too.
I like the little jazzy upbeat.
We really need a dance, you guys. We really need one. Get the jazz
Definitely.
hands out, Michael.
These are not.
Jazz fingers.
These are not jazz hands. These are jazz hands.